Good morning.
Good morning.
We are extremely pleased that you're here. It is good to come together for the purpose of co-creating. Do you agree?
Yes.
You are knowing what you're wanting, an evolving thing. You are enjoying the evolution of your desire. The answer is yes. You are enjoying those unfulfilled desires. That's the question that we most want you to say, yes, yes. What I want has not yet come into my physical manifestational fruition. I can't quite get my hands on it or my physical eyes on it yet, but I'm joyful in the moving toward it. I'm eager in the anticipation of it. I can feel through my emotional resources the proximity of it to manifestation. Can you say that? More and more, closer and closer. You are understanding that there will always be right before you a contrasting experience which is giving birth to constant new preferences and desires. So there will always be a gap between where you stand right now in terms of manifestation and what you have identified that you want. There is not a gap, however, between where you stand in your contrasting experience and the vibrational completion of your ideas. In other words, when contrast causes you to give birth to a rocket of desire, the larger part of you becomes one with that desire. Whether it's an amendment of one that you've launched over and over and over again, like I want more money, or whether it is something that is new because of a new experience you are living. In the moment that you give birth to another rocket of desire, the larger non-physical part of you immediately becomes vibrationally at one with that desire, and in that moment calls you toward it. That's how you know if you're on your path. You are following the call of that which is your source. But we think what trips you up sometimes is that you think that the call of source should sound like harps. You don't realize that you're going to be deciphering the call of source through your ears from wherever you are standing. So if you're standing in depression, source still calls you. In fact, do you know that in your depression or in your anger, in your feeling of powerlessness, you actually launch more rockets of desire than you do in your contentment or in your happy state of being? So you are incredibly productive in terms of launching rockets when you are in contrasting situations which help you to focus upon what you don't want, because you cannot know what you don't want without projecting vibration about what you do want. And when that happens, source becomes immediately one with it. In fact, we want so much for you to know that we've written a book and called it that. Ask and it is given. That's what that means. Imagine a universe where every point of consciousness, even the cells in a body, even one-celled organisms, are exposed to contrast, and from their personal selfish perspective, selfish meaning perspective of self, from their personal selfish perspective, launching an idea of what would be better for them. And source, in all its wisdom, understanding that no one could know better than that individual consciousness, and answering it. So all consciousness being answered by source at all times. Sounds like a very productive, satisfying, expanding environment, doesn't it? And it is just that. Humans often disagree, however. They say, I don't believe that when I ask it is given, because I've been asking and I would like to know where's my stuff. And it is wholly unsatisfying to people like that who are asking that question when we say and mean it and know it. It is being tended lovingly for you in your vibrational escrow. In other words, it's not off there somewhere where someone else can swoop in and snatch it away. When your life causes you to desire something, source says yes to you, and it waits for you to become a vibrational match to it. But if you do not become a vibrational match to it, it cannot be received fully by you. In other words, you're not allowing it into your experience if you are vibrationally different from what you're asking for. You understand that when you think about your radio. You cannot set your dial on 6:30 a.m. and hear what's being broadcast on 98 FM. In other words, the frequencies have to match up. And if your frequency is set on, I don't have enough money, I've never had enough money, my family didn't have enough money, and I hate those who do have enough money. If your vibration is set there, even though contrast is causing you to desire more, desire more, desire more, desire more, and source is tending to that substantial multi-million-dollar bank account that's been amassing ever since your first idea that you would like something more than you have, you're not letting it in your beating the drum of where you are. So what it comes down to is, as deliberate creators, you must begin to contour the direction of your thought. You cannot just take thought as it comes and have emotional responses to the thought. I see something that's nice and I feel good, and I see something that's not nice and I feel bad. Oh, well, that's just how it is. That's not deliberate creating. That's creating by default. And we don't see any of you sitting in front of the television and just taking what they give you. You're flipping around through the channels with your remote. And if it's really out of control, you turn it off and you go do something else. In other words, when you go to a buffet, we never see you say, you choose. Give me what you think I want. You're very, very picky about what you watch on television and about what you put on your buffet plate to eat. And yet, you look all around the universe, you listen to what the television gives you, you observe. In your observing without noticing and guiding by virtue of your emotional guidance system, often you focus on something, and by focusing on it, you activate the vibration of it within you. And the more you do that, the more law of attraction brings other things like it to you, until eventually you have a dominant vibrational pattern going on. Started out, you just noticed it. Then you talked about it. Then you looked it up online. Then you joined a group about it. And now it's rampant in your vibration, and it's everywhere you go, and has you convinced that the whole world is about that, when actually it's mostly just your world and the others who are stuck on that same vibrational chord. We call this gathering the art of allowing. And what it's really about is you finding ways, moment by moment, day by day, to allow as much of your connection to source energy as you can. I want to allow as much broader perspective as I can right now. I want to become such a vibrational match to who I am that I have the advantage of that broader perspective. And when you realize that the better you feel, the more tuned in, tapped in, turned on you are, and the worse you feel, the more you're pinching yourself off from that. You can never disconnect from it. You are always that. But you can tell by the way you feel how much of that broader perspective you are allowing. We know that there are many things that you are wanting. Sometimes you want to improve the conditions of your own physical life experience. We want that for you. We want you to be able to achieve manifestation of all kinds. But we want you also to come to understand that what your joy is really about is not the achievement of the things or even the relationships. It's the closing of that gap. It's the letting yourself be that which you have become. You are powerful, creative geniuses that came forth into this experience for the joy of the expansion, not because expansion needed to happen. You knew it was a given. There really is not a reason in the world for one more painting, or one more piece of music to be written, or one more anything. There's not a reason for anything in terms of the necessity of it, other than, oh, you're having a hard time with that one, aren't you? You think there are things that are needed by the world, and we want you to understand that nothing is needed, it is wanted. Ooh, now we're stepping all over your toes. We're talking from your broader non-physical perspective, where you understood that you would come into this body and that the variety would inspire you to individual desire. And you knew that when that desire emanated from you, that it would naturally begin to take shape and form. And that all you had to do then was become a vibrational match to what the world had caused you to ask for. And you weren't the least bit worried about it. In fact, further you said, I'm not only not worried about it, I know that I have guidance that will help me know when I'm moving toward or away from what I am asking for. And so the art of allowing is about reminding you of this powerful emotional guidance system that you have, that is within you, that in every moment will help you to come into vibrational alignment with the you that you have become. We cannot cease to be. So you sort of have to go with the flow of that. And when you have allowed yourself to be projected into this body, into a time-space reality that is full of contrast, that is evoking desires from you, you must find a way to keep up to speed with what life is calling through you. Because when you try to shut that down, you go out of your mind. Have you noticed? Sometimes we see you, something will happen and you'll feel a desire surface. And then you'll think to yourself, there's no way I can achieve that. And then you feel irritated that you now want it. The desire is torturing me. And we say, no desire was ever meant to torture you. Every desire was meant to represent the expansion that you are. And the torture is self-imposed because you're not letting yourself go with your own expansion. Well, I didn't mean to expand. I didn't mean to want something that I believe I can't have. And we say, can you hear the power of those words? I didn't mean to want something that I don't believe I can achieve. And we say the art of allowing is on working on the believing part of it, because there is not anything that you cannot achieve. If this time-space reality has given you the data to cause the desire to be born within you, that larger part of you, the vibrational part of you, has become it. And we promise you, you can catch up with it. You cannot want something without the resources in this universe being infinitely available to help you achieve it. Infinitely available. Do you know whenever you want something, there are 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 very close to you avenues that are perched, ready to yield you a path? But you don't want the gradual path. You want the quantum leap. You want the impossible. You want to jump from depression into ecstasy. Do you get it? That you are always emanating a vibration? And do you understand that law of attraction is responding to whatever that vibration is? And that what you think and what you feel, and therefore what manifests in your experience, is always a vibrational match? And so, does it make sense to you that if you're beating the drum of something not wanted, that you are marching towards something that when it manifests, and it will, you're not going to like it? And when you're beating the drum of something that feels good, you're marching towards something that when it manifests, and it will, you will like it? 99 and then some, 99.99% of every creation is complete vibrationally before you see physical evidence of it. That's what we mean when we say your life experience has caused you to ask, and source has become it. And if you could just get a sense from us here today of how true that vibrational creation is, you would never again doubt if you can have it. You just start pointing yourself in the direction of it and keep going till you got there. And if you knew that, you'd go steadily and you'd get there fast. As Jerry and Esther travel from Phoenix to San Diego, it's easy. 400 miles point west, keep going, not long. Quantifiable. They never, ever get halfway, Yuma, and freak out because they're not in San Diego, and then get all disoriented and turn around and go back to Phoenix. It never happens. Phoenix, Yuma, Phoenix, Yuma, Phoenix, Yuma, Phoenix, Yuma, Phoenix, Yuma. How far did they say it was? We've got 25,000 miles on the car and we're not there yet. They never get halfway out there and then announce that San Diego is an impossible dream, or that it is incurable, or that it is only there for others and not for them, or that they weren't born into the right star or to the right parents. They never, ever, ever, ever feel that way about that quantifiable journey. And we want you to understand that in exactly the same way, there is no place that you cannot get from where you are. But we see you. You're sick, feeling hopeful, on your way to recovery. Take another test and turn around and go back to Phoenix. And so you are making progress, but then you go back, and you make progress, but then you go back, and you make progress, and then you go back. If you begin to understand that your work is to make it an emotional journey, let your journey to your financial fortune be an emotional journey, not an action journey. So how does that play out? Well, that plays out that you imagine it and you pretend it and you feel good about it, or you even hope it. But you just can't keep saying it's not working, it's not working, it's not working, it's not working, without turning around and going in the opposite direction. You've got to find a way to keep pointed in the right direction.